Okay, Zambia. Thanks again, everybody, for attending this fabulous webinar on Zambia. I was just going to give you an introduction into this part of the world. Let me tell you that Zambia offers visitors an opportunity to experience the real Africa, which is completely wild and unspoiled. Zambia is a place of vast open spaces, of natural wonders and life-giving waters. So there are very few places, let me add, to go to on safari by foot. That's another thing. Zambia is known as the land of legendary African walking safari, where guests have a face-to-face encounter with nature at her wildest. The wild Zambezi, which is the river that Zambia, of course, is named after, flows through this whole kingdom, and it feeds the mighty Victoria Falls. See the picture on the front page here, the smoke that thunders. There also are at least 17 more waterfalls to be found on Zambian rivers, each more spellbinding than the next. None, I don't think, that are more spellbinding than the Victoria Falls. But her spectacular waterways are fantastic playgrounds, offering both adrenaline thrills for the wild at heart, as well as leisurely activities for more laid-back souls. The Victoria Falls area is definitely known as the action capital of Africa. So I also wanted to mention, because when people think of Africa, they think of safety. In fact, we think of safety wherever we go around the world. But Zambia is deemed to be one of the safest countries in the world. And its people are warm and they're welcoming, and this means that adventurous visitors can take advantage of the opportunity to explore remote and undeveloped rural areas where a taste of authentic Africa village life can be experienced. So that is my introduction to this fabulous country. Can we move on? All right, just a quick overview. Giltedge, Africa, for those of you who are not that familiar with us. We are headquartered in the beautiful city of Cape Town in South Africa, and our U.S. headquarters is right here in Austin, Texas, and I am the general manager of our U.S. office. And we have several different departments. Giltedge Africa, of course, is our FIT department or group. We also have an incentive division, we have a international division, we have a DMC division, and of course our beautiful Ocean Islands division. And next month we'll be actually focusing on the Ocean Islands. All right, so here is a map of Zambia, and I do understand that it is quite small, but I wanted to put this up here so you could at least just see who the neighbors are as far as Africa is Zambia is concerned. So you have Angola over here on the west, you have the Democratic Republic of Congo way in the north, you have Tanzania over here in the northeast, Mozambique, Malawi over here, you've got Zimbabwe, which of course is the, they share the largest border across the Zambezi River, Zimbabwe. You've also got Botswana, a little sliver of Namibia as well. And so it is a landlocked country surrounded by all these other African countries. Now, this map of Zambia I put up because I wanted to show you the 4 areas that I'm going to be focusing on today. The most important, I'm saving it for last, is the Victoria Falls, the 7th wonder of the New World, and that's down here. Then you've got the Lower Zambezi National Park. You've got the South LUANGWA National Park, very often paired together. You've got the North LUANGWA National Park. Here you've got KAFUE National Park, one of the largest parks in Zambia in the central part of the country. And then the more remote LIUWA Plains, which is here on the western side. Just going to point out Lusaka, which is the main international airport. And of course, you can also fly into Victoria Falls. All right, so I wanted just to say this before I go further, that for a long time, Zambia has been thought to be a destination that is best suited for the seasoned safari goer. And while there is truth that many visitors that go to Zambia, perhaps up to 60%, have already been on a safari elsewhere, Zambia is by no means a destination for the purist only. In fact, first-time first-time safari goers are often attracted precisely for the seclusion and the untouched beauty of the real Africa experience. So it has a low footprint, definitely more pristine and less tourists. So the pace of Zambia safari life is also noticeably slower than the neighboring countries, but it offers excellent value compared to other big-name safari destinations like Botswana, without compromising the wildlife interaction. Another quick note is just to say that the charter flights, we have charter flights that take you between the different destinations. I'll go back between all these destinations that I mentioned. And so that cost, if you're not staying for at least 3 nights, 2 to 3 nights, will compromise the great value that you're getting for staying there. So yes, so let me just say before I carry on that this is definitely a destination that will please both the newbie and the seasoned connoisseur. All right, so we've mentioned the location, that it's landlocked. Lusaka is the capital, also the main airport, but Livingstone, which is just 10 k's, maybe say 5 miles from Victoria Falls, is the main gateway, and it is a well-known hub for activities and adventure travel. Again, action capital of Africa. Access and logistics. Well, for the most part, there only are a few direct international flights into Lusaka. You have Emirates, you have KLM, and you also have Kenya Airways. There is a daily flight from Nairobi into Lusaka. So now you're linking East Africa with Zambia, which is great. The Victoria Falls can be used as an alternative airport. So now it's right across the street, so to speak, from Livingstone or from Zambia. And then also you can go from Kasane, from Livingstone to Kasane in Botswana. So in essence, it's very doable to combine Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana, and East Africa in Kenya. All right, so we're going to start off with the lower Zambezi, and this is absolutely gorgeous. It's a scenic river valley of about 120 k's on the Zambezi frontage. It's close to Malapool, which is, by the way, a fabulous park in Zimbabwe. And as I said, the Zambezi River acts as the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. Very low vehicle and camp density. Best thing about Zambia, and particularly in the lower Zambezi, and you still get an authentic safari experience. The animal viewing is off the charts. You've got lions, leopards, herds of elephants and buffalo, and because of the water feature, you're going to have lots of crocs and hippo. Fishing on the Zambezi River, of course, is absolutely amazing. There's boating, there's canoeing, walking safaris, and guided safaris. It's a birding paradise, and everything is accessible through light aircraft. You go from Lusaka or from Livingstone, or you can also go from South LUANGWA into the lower Zambezi. And it's very, very good to combine with the KAFUE National Park or South LUANGWA as a peaceful and relaxing ending. So you can certainly do a circuit in Zambia. Some great photos, elephant herds. Now I'm going to mention just a couple of accommodation. So in the lower Zambezi, you've got the Anabesi, or the Anabesi, probably said better. This is located on the banks of the Zambezi River, and it's named after the strategically located around forests of certain kinds of trees. This has the yellow pods that fall from the trees. It's small, there's only 12 spacious tents, it has a private deck, plunge pool, it has a fusion style of African and European cuisine, and loads of different activities. Lovely photograph just to kind of show you the tranquil nature, the fact that it's right there on the Zambezi River, and of course the sort of African feel of this lodge. The next lodge is Chiawa Camp. This is also nestled on the banks of the Zambezi, and it's under a grove of evergreen mahogany trees, and it has a very prime position on the lower Zambezi. 9 superior tents. It has an ensuite boar and claw slipper bath, as they like to call it, indoor, outdoor shower. They have fan, it has Wi-Fi, it's family run, personal service to per cuisine, and lots to do. This is another view of the camp. You can see the, you know, the bathtub outside on the deck, the gorgeous views. I mean, that couldn't be more of a close-up of an elephant. In fact, I don't know how those those two tourists are staying calm, but definitely great animal viewing, great location. Right, then we've got the South Luangwa area, and this South Luangwa area is known as the Valley of the Leopard, and it has lots of diverse landscapes. So in Zambia, you'll find like little sort of eco climates, or those eco areas that are within the same kind of proximity, but they vary. Here you've got the vast regions of unspoiled wilderness. You've got dense forests, you've got wide open savanna. It accommodates strong herds of elephants and buffalo. You've got everything else from zebra, giraffe, wildebeest. We've also got lots of predators and the extremely endangered African wild dog. So you've got everything here in South Luangwa, and not to dismiss the great bird viewing. It's a birder's paradise. Now, in the South Luangwa, you've got accommodations from 3-star to 5-star. You've got the mobile camping, which is the 3-star, all the way up to the luxury. It's got a big river that it is flanked by, the Luangwa River. And again, it's got your overnight walking safari. You've got boating, you've got fly fishing, everything you can think of, including sleep outs. And again, accessible by light aircraft to the Mafui airstrip. And very easy to combine with light aircraft from the lower Zambezi. I've said it a few times. The lower Zambezi and the South Luangwa are very good to pair together. Stunning photos, just shows you what Zambia is all about. Walking safari. And now you've also got a couple of great camps in South Luangwa. You've got Lion Camp, and this is 10 luxurious timber canvas and thatch suites. 8 luxury, 2 deluxe suites. Very spacious, very airy. Got a thatched roof, private pools, and all the activities you can consider. And I do need to mention that many camps, including this one here, operates only between May and October. We are avoiding the rainy season, and that's why some camps are not open during these times. Stunning views of the sunsets overlooking the plains, the Boma area where you sit at night and have drinks and dinner, gorgeous plunge pool. Now, the next area of interest is the KAFUE National Park. This is in the central part of Zambia. It is the oldest and the largest park in Zambia. It covers about 5.5 million acres, I should say. And it is named for the KAFUE River, which stretches over 3 provinces. It has a very diverse terrain. You've got the riverine, you've got the vast grasslands to the north, very secluded and remote, and has a lot of untouched wilderness. Lots of activities as most of these camps have, including, of course, the hot air ballooning over the plains. And that's a great photo below. So into the northwest area of KAFUE, which, as I said, is the largest park in Zambia, are the Basonga swamps. And so here's another kind of ecosystem. It's a papyrus wetland, and it gives way to the vast floodplain of the beautiful Basonga plains. Here you have lion, wild dog, cheetah. You've also got the red lechwe. There's a picture of them in the right corner where they have these splayed hooves, and they're able to kind of swim and wade their way through the water. So that's quite unique. You've also got the roan and sable antelope, not found in many places in Africa. And again, it's seasonal. So the camps here are open from June to November. And you don't have to remember all of this. Of course, you'll tap into one of our Africa travel experts, and they'll certainly steer you in the right direction. There are the red lechwe, splaying their way through the water. And then we've got the Basonga Bush Camp. And this is on a verdant island in the middle of the KAFUE Basonga Plains. And it is located around a forest of jackalberry trees. So we've had mahogany, we've had jackalberry, we've got all these different trees. It's 4 Maroon-style canvas tents. This picture over here is the main eating area. This is the main kind of congregation area. It has all the amenities in a small veranda I'm going to show to you right now. It has hot air ballooning, boating, game drive, stargazing, which is off the chart with a laser pointer. And this Bushwanga camp is also closed. It's open seasonally between June and October. But here is a better picture of Bushwanga camp. Very authentic. It's got a lovely Africa feel. Here's the fire out at night. As I said, the stargazing is phenomenal, and it's got that very traditional Africa feel with the canvas tents. All right, so in KAFUE National Park, we also have Shumba Camp, and this is the most luxurious accommodation in KAFUE. It has a vast mosaic of grassy floodplains, extends way out into the horizon. That's me, a little flat plains. Shumba means lion, of course, and there's a lot of lion herds. There's actually one lot, often seen in the camp. Small tents and a family tent with all sorts of activities, including seasonal boating, and this camp is open between June and October. Another stunning picture. This is very luxurious, very 5-star. Lovely, lovely camp. Lovely boma area to sit around after a day's game viewing, to chat and to have drinks. Just gorgeous. All right, so another area of interest is the LIUWA Plains. I think it's pronounced that way, LIUWA Plains. The local language is the Lozi language, and it's truly remote. But it is home to the second largest wildebeest migration after East Africa. Now, this LIUWA Plains has a very unique ecosystem, and what's great about it is here the indigenous people and the wildlife live together. So there's this mutually beneficial relationship, and definitely a safari destination for the more discerning traveler, more experienced, more adventurous, because it is remote. But you know, definitely a bucket list for those who want to check off, you know, untouched wilderness. Here you can see some stunning wildlife and some cultural interaction over there. Now, in the LIUWA Plains, they have one permanent exclusive camp, which you can actually access by helicopter. And this is, you know, again, home to the second biggest wildebeest migration. So definitely worthwhile destination. It has 5 spacious 1-bedroom villas, and it also has a family villa, and all sorts of activities as Zambia is prone to have. And it is accessible by light aircraft or helicopter, and it has its own airstrip. You can see the quality and the luxury, the remote, the pristine, but certainly a privilege for those who can make it out here. All right, and I've left the last area of interest to last, and that is the Mosi Oa Tunya, which is the smoke that thunders in English, National Park. We're talking, of course, about the Victoria Falls. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it straddles the border of Zambia and Zimbabwe, and the majestic Zambezi River is, of course, the border between the two. And from either side, you know, it's the action capital of Africa. There's everything from guided tours of the falls and the bridge, there's helicopter flights, there's bungee jumping, there's canoeing, there's white river rafting, you know, so there's something for the adrenaline junkies as well as, you know, for sunset evenings on a cruise on the Zambezi River. And of course, it also has access to Livingston Island and the adventurous Devil's Pool. And I'm going to show you Devil's Pool in the next couple of photos, because that can only be accessed during the low season of the falls. So here are some stunning photos. Helicopter view over the falls, and you can see the smoke that thunders. Here's all that spray. It's tremendous. Beautiful rainbows all over. In fact, they even have lunar rainbows at certain times of the year. Spectacular. More gorgeous pictures. You can see the bridge over here, which is the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe, and The falls are just absolutely magnificent. Bungee jumping, and here is Devil's Pool. It is a natural jacuzzi that is right on the edge of the falls, right on the edge, and as you can imagine, understand, not accessible, you know, during June, July, August, or May, June, July, August, when the falls are at their highest. Only in the end of the year, low season, can you experience the Devil's Pool. It's spectacular and certainly a bucket list activity. And then you've got the microsites, you've got the White River rafting on the rapids below, and you've got all sorts of walking safaris. It's just fabulous. So 2 hotels at the park, at the falls, is the Royal Livingston. Very colonial, definitely 5-star all the way. It overlooks the Zambezi River, and it has direct access to the falls. You can walk to the falls. It's a little larger, you know, than the safari lodges. There's 173 rooms, and lots of dining options. And in fact, I'm busy working on a large incentive group who are going to Zambia, who are going to be staying at this hotel. Again, you can see the colonial 5-star, very elegant feel of the property. Absolutely gorgeous, the Royal Livingston. A little more accommodation. You have the Royal Chundu and its Royal Chundu Island Lodge. I've stayed here a couple of times. They're right on the banks of the mighty Zambezi River. Only 14 spacious suites, and then of course you've got your 4 private suites on Katambora Island. They all have their private decks and outdoor baths. Very romantic, fabulous for honeymooners. That's all this, a double bath into the bath, and they do it at sunset. So there you are, having your bath on the Zambezi River, you know, at sunset. It's just absolutely amazing. There's all the amenities, lots of colonial and African charm, and lots to do, of course, including a village walk, because it's close to a local village. So you've got the community aspect as well. Beautifully appointed, as you can see. Great location. And then the last property is, of course, the Sanctuary Sissy and Chuma. Also beautiful under some jacobberry trees and phoenix palms. It's just really very, very exclusive. There are only 12 tree houses connected by wooden walkways. And there's also 2 private Chuma houses, each with 2 bedrooms, so there's a family orientation too. Lots of activities, and they've also got a local school in the village, and beautifully appointed, as you can see in this photograph as well. All right, so that's a little bit about the areas and the accommodation, and just a little background or some more information on the country. But first of all, traveling with children, charge from lodge to lodge. Most of the main lodges do have family tents, as I've been showing you along the way, and so they definitely do have this multi-gen capability. But the ranger, at his discretion, whether to allow the child to go on the safari vehicle or not. So it all kind of depends. All right, so the language is English, but there are many other local languages as well. So, sorry, English is the official language of other languages. The currency is the kwacha, but you can use a Visa card. You're going to need malaria tablets, as anywhere in Africa. And you will need yellow fever vaccination if you're coming, for example, from Tanzania, from some country that has yellow fever, but otherwise you don't need anything other than the malaria tablets. And to get in, visas are required. You can get them at the border, and if you're going into both Zimbabwe and Zambia, you can get a CASA Uni Visa. It only costs $50, and that allows you to go into both countries, and it's valid for about 30 days. Just to let you know that once you have paid for your visa in dollars, everything else you've got to pay by kwacha, their currency, or you can use Visa card. Interestingly enough, no MasterCard. So the climate and the weather, just to let you know that it has a lot of good rainfall. That is why it's closed at certain times. But it does have a great dry season from May to August, and a hot dry season from September to October. And during the wet season, as I said to you, especially in the Fui or south sector of LUANGWA, they're closed. So just the best times to travel is April, May, and September. Here the temperatures are very pleasant, and the short rains that may happen in April, you know, they do not compromise your safari at all. So that's a little bit about the best times to go. And also, you know, if you go during July to October, it won't be busy at all, except the falls, of course, are always a little bit more touristy. So, in conclusion, I wanted to let you know that no matter where you go in Africa, you are in excellent hands. We have won the World Travel Awards for 8 years in a row, and are hopeful that maybe we'll get an acknowledgement for a 9th, but at the moment 8 years in a row, so you're in very, very good hands. And we have very seasoned Africa travel experts. They know every inch of Africa. We travel extensively, do a lot of stand trips, and so we are standing by and would love to introduce you and your travelers to Zambia. So, on that note, thank you for joining Giltedge Africa on the stunning visual adventure. And I'm going to stop the recording now.